a gap year, matrics of 2023. Many of them may not know what they want to do next year. It doesn't sound like a bad idea at all, and parents need to support, of course, the children's choices. Now, it is Blind Awareness Month, and Nelson Mandela University has done some good work reaching out to the visually impaired with coding tools. The university is at the forefront of inclusive education and coding through this pioneering initiative called the Tangible Africa program. It began as a mobile app developed by Byron Batson for his honors project in computer science at the Nelson Mandela University. The program is transforming the educational landscape while empowering disadvantaged students, visually impaired learners, and those with special needs for successful careers in coding. For more, here's the head of the Department of Computing Sciences at the NMU, Professor Jean Greyling. Prof, good afternoon. Sounds like a very interesting program, this. I mean, most times we hear about how we as a country neglect the needs of those who've got all kinds of disabilities, people living with different kinds of disabilities. Just tell us more about this particular program. How is it assisting the visually impaired?
Yes, thank you very much for the opportunity. We started with this project, as you said, in 2017 with the main theme of inclusion. And the original people we wanted to include would be people that are staying in rural areas, in areas where there's no electricity, in schools where there's no computer laboratories. So that has been our theme, to include people that would naturally be excluded. But about a year ago, our engagement manager, Jackson Chabalala, started talking to friends at Bona Ubuntu here in Gqeberha that reach out to the visually impaired. And by that I mean low-sighted as well as blind learners. And we quickly realized that it's very possible to, let's call it, transform, adapt our tools so that the visually impaired as well as the blind could interact with our tools. And it's now a year later. We've partnered with SATU, South African Democratic Teacher Union, and we've just completed our 16th workshop in all 9 provinces, and 100% positive feedback, even from blind teachers that say they could interact with the tools the whole day. So that is very heartwarming for us to see that we could reach this part of the community that is often excluded.
What kind of coding tools have they been engaging with over the last year where you've seen the positive results?
Okay, so our main coding tool is called the Rangers app. It works with challenges that you get on your cell phone, and then you use puzzle pieces, physical customized tokens that you use to write the code to address the challenge on the screen. You take a photo and the token works. That is for the non-visually impaired. For the low-sighted learners, we had to make 2 adaptations. We had to make the tokens about 4 times bigger than the normal token with very high contrast. And we redeveloped the interface. A master student at Mandela University, Rosalind Tate, did this for us. We reinvented the interface where it used to have very fancy colors, etc. When we interact with the visually impaired, it's pure contrast, black, white, yellow, and it makes it much easier for them. For the blind, we had to go a step further. The levels, the challenges that you would normally get on your screen that you can see and then address, they are now, each screen is now printed in 3D. So we have 35 levels of the game printed in 3D. We call it tactile levels. The blind can feel on them the challenge. And then the tokens with which they need to build the code is also now slightly bigger, also 3D printed with Braille. So they can feel on the tokens whether it's a move forward, a turn left, a loop, or an if statement.
Opportunity to scale this up. I mean, it's just been a year old, to reach out elsewhere in South Africa and beyond our borders. Yes,
we've with the original project, we are literally launching at EU Code Week in Europe this week with around 15 countries using our tools. We've been in Ghana, Kenya, Uganda, Zimbabwe, Zambia, quite a few African countries. But this project for the visually impaired was launched last week at a conference for education for the visually impaired in Nairobi. And we're very excited with the response we got from various countries across Africa that see this as a huge opportunity, not only to introduce learners to coding. I always say it's not just about coding. We want to show learners and give them tools where they can improve their problem-solving skills, their strategy skills, their computational thinking skills, and on the lowest level, just a tool that they can play and feel that they overcoming challenges, a tool that allows them to play amongst full-sighted learners in a tournament and no one really sees that they're blind. So yes, there's a huge scope for scalability, first in Africa over the next few months, but we believe this has potential to have impact on all the continents.
Yeah, finally, very briefly, Prof, if you may, as an academic institution, I know you're going to have funding problems. Are you getting support for this particular program? And if anybody's listening or watching, they want to support you, how do they go about it?
Yeah, the main business plan from the start was to challenge companies to spend their CSI funding in a very worthwhile way. And companies like AWS and Communities and many other companies in South Africa have been on board for many years. So corporates that want to spend their CSI funding in a very worthwhile can contact us.
Thank you very much, Prof. That's Professor Jean Greyling of the Nelson Mandela University.